Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social Season 3, Episode 11. And to be honest, I actually forgot that I was going to be hosting this. I thought it was going to be Maz or something. But this is going to be a bit of a fun one, boys, isn't it? Because obviously I'm joined with, the boys Maz and Ben, and of course myself, Ryan. But this one's a little bit, Brentford, a 2-0 loss. I'm sure we'll get into everything. And boys, what do we make of what I thought, to be honest, was an actual good performance on the most part, which I did put out a tweet on. People were calling me crazy in the moment, and sort of a lot came around to agree the morning after.
The red
Don't know what you boys
mist,
think, but what do we think on the Brentford thing? A bit of a general question to begin with, to be honest with you.
I'll go for it. I agree. I genuinely thought we played well. I thought we dominated most parts of the game. I think the possession stats at the end, I know possession's not everything. If you lose the game, you lose the game. But I think what was it, like 70%, something like around that figure. We dominated possession. I thought we had a lot of chances. We created a lot, and it was just for me. It just stemmed back to that normal sort of procedure under Potter's early days, as in or mid days. So when he sort of maybe a year before he left, where we dominate possession, we create those chances, and we just can't score. That's just exactly what
someone tweeted, we might as well have played in that blue kit with a white collar yesterday, because it was just like reliving that season.
Literally.
21 shots, 7 on target is all it was just flashbacks. Yeah. And you're right, Ryan, we did play well, and that's why it's not a worrying thing about being under our new manager. We played well in most of the games we've been under him. I guess Tottenham, you could say we didn't play too well, but we still deserve to get more than a loss out of it. Yeah, maybe. Bloody elf bars from my fucking throat. Other than don't smoke elf bars, trust me. I just think it's not all doom and gloom if people are feeling that way. There is positives to take out of all the games.
Just on that. Sorry, just quickly. Just on that. I saw a tweet. Someone made a really good sort of comparison or observation. And it was, let's give Zerbi a bit more time, because when Potter went through this stage, as in, he's literally been here for 3 games. We can't just be reactionary and just be like, we've lost 2 out of 3. Obviously, a really good result at Liverpool, and obviously lost the other 2. But it's 3 games in.
We always knew it was going to be a tough start as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think the person tweeted saying, Zerbi is having the same problems as Potter did at one stage of his career, where he was playing good football and dominating games, but wasn't scoring goals, because ultimately we weren't scoring goals. So I think it's way too quick to sort of be reactionary. I think 3 games definitely. In, there's so much more time to see really what Zerbi's all about, and Nottingham Forest is going to be a big game, I think, for him to prove what he's all about and see what he takes with it. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of, I would say a lot of reactionary stuff, but I wouldn't say there was too much on Zerbi, unless they are completely stupid. I don't know why you would go against Zerbi now.
No, I didn't see any manager stuff.
But I did see a few reactionary things, a lot of people, saying drop X, Y, and Z. But I think that if I was to go on a positive spin at the minute, I think the one real standout, and probably he set the bar so high at the moment. And Moises Caicedo, I think, was man of the match for me anyway. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And although David Raya and although Ivan Toney were absolute different quality that day, I think Moises Caicedo over the longevity of the game was brilliant, and probably would have got the Sky man of the match if we came away with a win or a point there. But I don't know. I just find it a bit weird, because obviously it's you would think that the problems that we're facing with in front of goal, you would have thought you grow out of those, right? You've trained yourself to stop doing that. The misses weren't nearly as bad as what they were under Potter, by the way. We didn't have 6-yard open goals. But the point of the matter was we couldn't break down that low block that Brentford really pressed against us. And same with Tottenham. And,
I really hope that doesn't become a theme though, Ryan.
Is that going to be what happens? The question
is everyone going to now do that against Brighton?
Yeah,
I can't deal with that. We're screwed if that's the case.
Do you know what I think? I'm not saying that people have. Well, actually, I'm going to say it. I think people have worked us out in a way, in terms of how we approach games, because I think that helped us a lot. I'm not saying we were an unknown, but people didn't really know what Potter was going to do next. He was very unpredictable. We as fans, we didn't know what he was going to do next. So I think that unpredictable nature really helped us a lot. and also our style of football is brilliant. Like Potter he got us playing really, really good football. So I suppose the question is, have teams worked us out, so to speak? I know that's probably not, I wouldn't say we're not going to go, we're going to go on to not win any games or anything, but have they sort of learned how to play against us? Like
if Steve Cooper does it against us tomorrow, then it's going to be that question will be answered. If we get 3 games in a row where people have done the same thing, like if Forest do a low block against us and somehow nick a draw or a win, it's not going to look good. It won't look good, and we'll have to figure out a plan B, because some people, the few things that I did see about Zerbi, which was very small by the way, but like some people were saying he didn't have a plan B. And I guess you could kind of say that, like, especially against Spurs, there definitely wasn't a plan B, and even against Brentford, I guess there wasn't one. I don't know. I guess why would you change it if you are creating chances? That's my thing. Like against Brentford, we were still creating chances.
Exactly that, and also as well, does he have the options off the bench? That is the question. Obviously, Matoma, great, but question still, jury's still out.
Now, isn't he?
He's injured now, exactly. But the jury's still out on Undav. Like, do we have the strength and depth to help Zerbi or any gap in that?
You see, this is a good question, because I think that, obviously he came out this morning and he does his press conferences really early, by the way. I don't know if it's his call or if it's the media's call, but it was I think it was like 8 o'clock this morning. It was kind of mad, but anyway, one thing I would say was he just obviously came out and said Lallana's going to start, or at least Lallana will be playing, and that's quite different. Like, we haven't had that before, a manager to come out and just say, this is what's good. I don't think it will be a bluff. I put it out sort of asking a general question, is he bluffing? Is he
imagine
bluffing,
trying to play
some mind games on Steve Cooper? But it doesn't really seem like one he would bluff. But it's a strange, different thing. But is that a good thing, do you think, for him to come out and almost say, Lallana will be starting? Is that just like, confidence in his own sort of managerial abilities, or would you rather it be like Potter and be so almost corporate, shush, no one else to know what I'm thinking? I'll ask it to Maz because I can see you're thinking.
I think with that is, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I suppose just it gives the opposing manager a bit of a head start. He's like, okay, well, I know Lallana's starting, so I can, he can probably then predict the formation as well based on that. And then,
that's well,
and then he can probably have a bit of an inkling. But in saying that, confirming one player's playing, I don't think that's a big giveaway.
The reason why I think it's a bit bigger though, Maz, is because like for the past 3 games we played the exact same team, and now he's come out and said that he's actually going to change it. So that's the only difference now. So Steve Cooper might have a bit of an inkling and think, right, he's actually going to maybe change a few things if he's bringing in a new player for the first time.
But that's good though, because then he'll be like, well, what formation he's going to play? What person is he going to make more changes? Like it might keep him thinking. So,
it definitely seems to me like a bit of a chess move from Zerbi, which I hope it is.
Yeah, it's a smart. Surely it's smart for him.
Yeah, and the only thing I think is, probably agree with Ben on it is, De Zerbi hasn't really yet had the chance to make his own team up based on what he's got. I'm not saying he's going to make any signings in Jan yet, but based on what he's got at the moment, he's still followed Potter's footsteps in terms of unchanged 11s. Pretty much we've played the same team for the past 3 months, right? And now he's finally saying, no, we're going to change something. Whether that's going to be Lallana is going to be the big man to change it.
And who comes out as well?
Who comes out? It does leave you guessing, and perhaps could be something that does work. I still remember a certain Marcelo Bielsa clip when he named the entire starting 11 the day before the game, and he actually played the 11 that he named, which is like mad. So I don't know if I'd want that. I mean, I don't know.
It'd be interesting to know. It'd be interesting to know. Did they win that game?
Did they?
Get Akers in.
Akers in.
But go for it, the Zerbi, do it. Get your team sheet out there, mate.
But where do we think, if we had to predict, where does Lallana come in? Does he play false 9 like he did randomly against Leicester? Was it Leicester when he played false 9? Remember that?
Yeah,
that was in our blue kit, I think, as well.
So interesting for me. It's like, right. So for me personally, you're gonna either have to drop Pascal Gross or McAllister or Trossard. That for me, that's the 3. If you're going to do like for like, that's the 3 you swap in for, right? So, that the question then begs: Pascal Gross, arguably our best chance creator. Trossard, arguably our best player right now. And then McAllister, again, arguably our best player. It's like, do you then take one of those 3? And out of those 3, if you like put a gun to my head and said you have to pick out those 3, I'd pick not McAllister, sorry. I'd pick Pascal Gross to go out the side. But again, I wouldn't be happy with that because he is one of our best chance creators. Even this season, he's been fantastic. So it's like, who do you justify gets dropped? It's like,
I'd say probably, if there is one in that, that midfield that has probably been worthy of being dropped is Pascal Gross. He probably wasn't at his best in the last couple of games under Zerbi, but still probably wouldn't be one that you would drop. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe he looks at that and thinks, he's clearly a manager that likes sort of your forward-thinking midfielders, as he's getting the best out of Caicedo, and everyone will refer back to Locatelli and that Italian side that was so powerful. It seems like those are the sort of midfielders that he likes. So he might not get on with a Pascal Gross that is very intelligent, but probably isn't, the energetic number 8 that he wants. Maybe, I don't know, but that's me purely guessworking him. But putting in Lallana,
reasonable guess.
And putting in Lallana, he has got the energy, he has got the quality, but is he going to last the 90 minutes? Is the big question.
I was about to say, that's the thing. I would argue, is Lallana that energetic sort of?
I'd say he's energetic. He does drive it. He is technically gifted. I think the only thing that hampers Lallana in his career is his injuries. Like, he could go on a great run and everyone will be, oh my god, that's just quite class from Lallana. So many times I've said that's so class from Lallana, but then he'll be dropped on the floor and he'll be stretchered off about 5 minutes later. So that seems to be the story of his frustrating career, because I do really like him. It is really annoying. I'm not to slander Lallana by any means.
Well, it's the thing. Again, it's not an attack on the players, but I tweeted out after the Nottingham Forest game. I was like, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bit of stick for this, but I tweeted out saying playing Welbeck and Lallana in 2022 is not the one. And I actually stick by that. I feel like, and this
Welbeck,
is not to say they are bad players. No, but this is not to say they're bad or they're not good for the team, which they both have their uses. Welbeck, I think, has been great, but I like to have a striker that can score goals. And with all due respect, he scored 0 goals this season. He has scored zilch.
On that, and I wanted to talk about it. There were quite a lot of people that were slating Danny Welbeck, saying it's a waste of space. He was very good in. No, but he was very good in Graham Potter's systems. But will he be good in De Zerbi's systems? And right now, it's kind of saying no, and he isn't proving good.
But I also want to say, just to caveat, because I'm sure I'm going to get people about, what you on about Welbeck's so good for us, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of that. But and I want to just state, I think he's a good player. I think, and I've always been a bit of a critic of him, but I think recently in the last sort of year, six months, I think he's been great, and he's definitely got a use. I'm not saying don't use him. I think he's got his uses. I just don't think he should be starting games. Bring him on as an impact player, 60 minutes or 70 minutes, last 20 maybe, aerially, very good in the air. You can run the channels, use him, effectively that way. I just feel like I want a striker who's like a number 9 and can score goals. For a striker, as a sole striker, to not have one goal.
Here's the question then, Maz. Because I know Welbeck, he has his uses, as you say. But then the next one's Dennis Undav, who I'm not against Dennis Undav, but he really hasn't blown me away yet. I don't know how to comment on Undav yet, because it's really hard, as we haven't seen him enough. But he had his chance against Brentford and really didn't seem to look at it, but then probably didn't do anything to suggest he shouldn't play either. So it was a weird one. But the only thing that my worry on Undav is that he's very different to Danny Welbeck, and Welbeck's very good in driving forward and creating chances and being very good with his feet. And whereas Undav seems to me as, I want the ball in the 18-yard box and 18-yard box only, and probably would have a decent shot off. I mean, he looked like, he has technique on him when he strikes the ball. But when it comes to the rest of the game, I don't know. Like a Trossard or Welbeck.
But this brings back to the question for me then. Why did we not sign, if we didn't, trust, if Potter didn't trust in Undav, and clearly De Zerbi doesn't have that much more trust in him, then it goes back to the question of why have we left with just Dennis Undav and Danny Welbeck as strikers?
Yeah.
Why did we not recruit? Or why did we not...
Selling Mopé was weird.
Selling
exactly. Mopé was weird.
Why do we not keep Mopé? So that brings back the whole question of, what we don't have enough players, first of all, to compete with Welbeck. Because Welbeck probably thinks, right, my only competition is Undav, which is probably not a lot right now. So he's thinking, right, I'm going to start every game here, so I can probably, when people sort of, not saying he rests on his laurels, but you get a bit comfortable, don't you? Like, well, I don't really have much competition. I'm probably going to start most games. And scoring goals is what I'd like to see from him. So I'm not saying he shouldn't, be in the squad, or I just feel like if we really want to kick on and progress, we need another striker to supplement Danny Welbeck / him supplement them.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think we will be seeing a much different 11 by even in the next few months, to be honest. I mean, you've got the likes of Billy Gilmore, etc., that we have signed and we haven't seen too much.
I forgot we even had him.
I know. I would love to see him a lot more, though, Ben, if I'm honest with you, because he seems like a great, he only came on for a few minutes against Tottenham, but you could already see what he can do, and that's running quite well, to be honest, with the ball. Looked like, can pick a pass out. Looked quite composed, to be honest, for the, say, 5 minutes he was on the pitch for. And, against the Tottenham side that we couldn't break down, Gilmore seems like the energetic sort of midfielder that potentially could do that to Forest. I mean,
that's one of the hardest positions to get into in our team, isn't it? At the moment, probably the midfield, though that too.
Yeah,
and I think Webster's position might be up for grabs because I guess he was a bit shaky against Brentford.
I mean, Levi Cole was injured, and so is Van Heck, right? So we've got both our next best centre backs out. So Welbeck isn't. Webster isn't on his best form at the minute. But I'm sure he probably knows that, right? But I'm sure he'll come all right soon enough. Yeah. But it's just a weird situation. I feel like we're in that transition period now. It's so cliche in football to say people are in their transition period. We actually are at the minute. It's been such a blow, and I said it at the Brentford game, and people were saying, you move on, whatever. But that's not what I'm trying to say. My point is the damage has been done, right? And to move on, you've got to rebuild what you've lost, right? And what we have lost is X amount of coaching staff and a great world-class manager and a great setup that was, right?
So see how good Kepa was against Villa since Ben Roberts has gone in there. He was unbelievable. I messaged this Chelsea fan that I know. Yeah. And I was like, that's the Ben Roberts effect. And he just started laughing. He was like, he's changed us.
Yeah. He will laugh, but he actually is probably right, to be honest. But what's mad is we've lost all that big foundation that was, and now we've got to almost just start again. And I think that for people to almost think, we're going to play like how we did under Potter in the Forest game and really take the game to him, dominate.
That'd be crazy.
We might take the game to him, dominate. I'm sure he probably will. But to expect what we were doing under Potter, under Zerbi, is really very harsh, I think, to be honest. I won't go on to Forest yet, to be fair, because I feel like there's a little bit more to talk about in Brentford. I'd like to talk about David Raya, to be honest with you, because some of his saves he was pulling off, mate, was absolutely ridiculous. And, the Spanish goalkeepers having a go at each other there, to be fair, because he was on fire.
Yeah,
and
unreal.
I just wonder, it's you say about Kepa, it seems like every time that we have a decent amount of chances, the goalkeepers just turn world class against us. And I'm worried about Dean Henderson, because if he does that to us,
he's due one. God. He's due one, isn't he?
Yeah, he's having a stinker at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. Still manages to get FPL points though because of all the saves that he makes. But he's especially that. I know that Ashley Young volley was good that he did recently, but he should be saving some of the stuff that goes past him. Just thinking, Jesus Christ! And then he does his WWE beating up the floor stuff.
Yeah.
It's just sorry, just talking about the Brentford game. Obviously, it sort of relates back to my earlier point about having a striker who can score goals. Even Toney is a fantastic example of that. He's your out and out forward, scores goals. And they played the same formation as us, slightly different, but essentially like a 4-3-3, however you want to sort of set it up, with three sort of two wide players and Romo and Wissa. And then they had Toney as well. And for me, to have that option of Toney would be amazing. I would love to have.
Would be next level.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. If we had a striker who could finish all these chances, and you saw his first goal with the little back heel was beautiful. It was just
that gave me flashbacks of Mateta for Palace. Remember when he done that against Sanchez as well?
Yeah,
it was a bit more of a different flick, but
it seems like a lot of the more forward-thinking managers are not obsessed with, particularly Brighton setup, aren't obsessed with goal-scoring strikers. And whereas it feels like because of Erling Haaland particularly, the old-fashioned number 9 is becoming a lot more trendy because we've all gone to sort of this not obsessed with goal-scoring strikers. We now complement midfielders. Number 8s are bigger than ever. Number 8s are arguably more important than number 10. The number 10's died. Wingers are here and there. We rely on our, forwards, inside forwards for goals. And Erling Haaland's almost gone, do you know what? Forget your analytics, mate. I'm going to get in the box, score some headers, volleys, inside of the box wonders, right?
Any part
whatever
of
I can get whatever I can get my body on. Toney, Ivan Toney is a bit like that, to be fair, and it does make you wonder, as ugly as it can be, a Glenn Murray, a Bobby Zamora. Ultimately, they're the ones that fans pay their money to see. Yeah, so it does seem a bit old-fashioned, but under De Zerbi, he likes to play wide, and they're not obsessed with crossing necessarily, but having an extra presence in there as well as Welbeck. I mean, that's one thing that I do wonder why Undav could be big under him is, clearly Undav is a very good striker in terms of scoring goals, right? He's clearly quite clinical, and his record suggests that when you watch some of his goals over, they're inside of the box. They're not, not pretty, maybe the edge of the box, low pile drivers into the, but you don't really see him darting forward and laying players off and making in behind runs like Welbeck probably would. So could he potentially be the one that's now for Forest if he does? Probably his best chance now to step up and have a chance. I wouldn't be against having a bit of an old-fashioned number 9 in Undav, but it might mean you take away that link-up play that Welbeck does. I don't know what you think, Ben.
No, 100%. We do know what Welbeck brings, and he brings a lot of class, especially the teams that he's played for. And you see his experience when he does have his good games. You can tell that he's been playing at a high level. I don't know. I still don't know if Undav is ready. It must be weird though, going from scoring so many goals last season and then not getting a look in. Obviously, his confidence.
In a Belgian
I imagine,
league, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but I imagine his confidence is probably shot to bits as well. Especially you've seen online people saying he's done and not good enough, that sort of thing. I can't imagine his confidence is good. And then only getting like a minute or 2 minutes here and there to play and show yourself it's not good. I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine he's having a good time at the moment. To throw him in against Forest will be mad. I think I still would rely on Welbeck more.
There's obviously as well like a clear correlation between Potter not giving him chances and also De Zerbi. I know it's only 3 games in, but still not giving him like the full. There must be like we're not privy to the training. Does he perform in training? Is he as good as Welbeck in training? All these kind of things that we can't see.
Probably not.
We don't know. Like but there's obviously a clear link between the two managers in terms of they both aren't fully trusting Undav yet. So either he's still not match fit, or he's not ready yet, or he doesn't, hasn't adapted to English football. It could be multitude of factors. But there's a clear link between De Zerbi and Potter for me that they both still are trying to work him out in terms of, is he the right fit? Can he replace? Can he supplement Welbeck? Can they play together? Does he play as a lone striker? I think there's a lot of questions yet.
Yeah, I think just to finish off on the Undav / Welbeck / striking issue, I think. As you say, there is obviously something that he's not doing right. But I remember going back to Andy Naylor when he came on the pod a couple of years ago and said, these foreign players that come over from, say the Belgian league or wherever it might be, they come over to the English game. It is a very different step up. I mean, obviously, as I said, Erling Haaland, he's an exceptional talent, right? He's 1 in a million. But in terms of like an Undav or even Caicedo, when he came over, we had to loan him out a little bit before he really settled in. And that wasn't just because of a work permit. Mitoma, another one. These players, Alexis McAllister, another one. Oh my God. So majority of our team has actually had to settle. But I think the only thing that maybe a FIFA kids of the generation will look at is Undav is turning 26 and he probably hasn't got as much time to settle. And that's probably what's added the pressure on in selling Mope. Realistically, he has to. He's got the weight on his shoulders because, I think it's not the best business, which usually our so efficient business runs. I think selling Mope has added that pressure on Undav because Welbeck's day was going to come, right? It was always going to have a blip. He wasn't going to perform as he was every single game like he has been. So now we're in that situation of maybe Welbeck's just not falling off as such, but his forms are starting to dip and it's natural, right? I don't know. I just feel like with a team like Forest, it's a chance for Undav really to have a chance. That's just my opinion anyway, but we'll see.
Should we jump into the Forest? Do you want
to? Just quickly before we jump on, I'll try to talk about the penalty quickly. Beltman.
Fair. I actually forgot there was a penalty. Can't lie.
Yeah. I blocked out Friday from my mind, by the way. So I'm trying to remember everything that happened.
No, just quickly the penalty. Beltman on Toney. I just thought it was clumsy. It was very frustrating.
It's dumb.
I just felt like he didn't need to do it. He just didn't need to do it. And I was so frustrated by it. I was like, why have you done that? Just let him turn, because there's so many bodies in the box that someone could have put a block in. I think Dunk was right next to him as well. Obviously, Veltman was the one who made the challenge, but it was like there was a lot of people around him where they could have either blocked him. He might not have got a shot off. There's so many different outcomes that could have happened.
He was involved,
barring a penalty.
He was involved in a lot of stuff, Veltman, wasn't he? Like argy-bargy with Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank tried to tackle him, and even before that, I think Veltman stood on Toney's foot and had a little scuffle with Toney there again. He's involved in a lot of action like that, and I guess the penalty was kind of coming. He probably was. His head was probably flustered. Toney was having the better of all of the defence, so maybe that got a bit better.
It's frustrating because it's so, as you say, it is silly, especially for someone of Veltman's calibre. But also, I mean, Ivan Toney is because he's English, like Harry Kane. He's clever, right? I think that Veltman puts a foot in, and he's made a meal of it. I think Brentford were quite bad for that, to be honest. They were clever in what they did. They broke up the play, which is another way of saying they spent a good 35 minutes on the floor for the second half, to be fair. It was very frustrating to watch at times, the amount of time that was lost, because you see it and you just think, when you're on the receiving end of it, when it's Glenn Murray doing it and he dives at the first touch he gets on him, you're like, well done, Glenn, this is what the striker's meant for. But when it's against you and they're going down and they're holding their leg and you've got to wait for him to take a throw in, and it's just a bit like Brentford did a really good job for a team like Brighton, like we are. We like to play the ball. We like to come forward and put high press in. They were very much, let's not let them even get a chance to play. And every time they did, let's fall to the floor and waste a bit of time. So I think that was the key for Brentford, really. And when they had their chance, they've got the quality in Toney, and they've got the quality.
That is the difference. So that's the perfect conclusion. That is the difference between us and them. We had all those chances, but we didn't have the right person to finish it. Whereas Brentford did, and they took their chances. We didn't have Ivan Toney, That's the podcast title. That's the podcast title. Sorted. Don't have to worry about that.
But just to completely round off, actually, just one thing I wanted to mention was Zerbi, how he was having a go at Thomas Frank, saying, "Do not touch my players." I loved it personally. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I literally tweeted off Seagulls Social straight away, and I literally, because I saw him mouth the word. So the whole scuffle happened. Obviously, Veltman got involved, and it was a big scuffle. And then when they got pulled apart, and they both got their yellow cards, Thomas Frank and Zerbi went and shook hands after. But literally, the first thing Zerbi said was, "Do not to my players." And I saw him mouth it, and I was like, that's class. I literally got it out of the He's like, don't touch my players, or don't speak to my players.
Yeah, something like, don't touch my players.
Don't touch
me.
Literally,
as he was shaking his hand, I was like, that's class.
Yeah.
That's my gaffer.
That's my gaffer.
So,
he's not scared of a fight, as he deserves. It's quite funny.
I'm all for it. It shows a bit of passion. It shows a bit of, fight for your players. You're backing your players when they need it. I think it was definitely more positive. So obviously, I don't want to see him get sent off like every week, or become one of those Italian managers who gets sent to the bench to do his team talks from the stands. I don't want that. But I do love the passion though. I'm all for passion and standing up for your players and standing up for what we think is right. I think
And then lastly, before Forest, the fans, especially with Mwepu, incredible.
Oh yeah,
the support for Mwepu was amazing. The whole away end was incredible. Just chanting his name for a good felt like 20 minutes at the beginning, didn't it? Flags everywhere. But if you did go, well done, because you absolutely smashed that. And I'm sure Mwepu really appreciated it.
I can't wait for Forest. I'm sure he's going to get an absolutely amazing reception. Really should be I know what one thing that we can always praise the club in is the tributes and things. We always get it spot on with our tributes, so I'm sure it's going to be a touching one. It's going to be a heart in your throat sort of thing, but it's going to be emotional and absolutely top quality to literally every fan that came with a Zambian flag or something new of the equivalent, or even if you were just chanting, it's brilliant.
And Dick Knight as well, for God's sake, not getting in.
Oh shit!
Paul Barber must have been for God's sake, this is not going to look good on Monday.
I'm the fucking president of this club.
I own half the club, for fuck's sake. Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I'm the fucking president of the club.
Oh yeah. But it was so
good. Just to be clear, because I think I did want a bit.
It was fake news, wasn't it? No.
It was fake news, yeah.
His ticket,
So
it's his ticket.
It wasn't about anything to do with like, everyone was talking about the names on tickets and stuff. It was nothing. It just didn't scan, which these things happen with football grounds. So,
and then they made a second ticket, and then that didn't scan as well. And then they were like, right, you have to go to the Brighton kiosk to sort it out. And then people turned up to the Brighton kiosk, and they were like, fucking hell, what's Dick Knight doing here screaming about? It couldn't have happened to a worse person, a better person.
Mad.
Sorry.
Yeah, that is mad.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, to just move on swiftly to Nottingham Forest tomorrow night should be a different game actually, because Forest are not great, to be honest. That's putting it lightly. They're really not
until
great.
Tomorrow. Yeah, of course.
Every time I watch Forest this year, I think, my God, is anything going to happen from this club? And I want them to do well in a weird way, because they're an upcoming team. They're different in the Premier League, but they really haven't done it so far. But not Russell Martin. That's the other guy.
Steve Cooper.
Steve Cooper. They're pretty much the same manager at this point. Steve Cooper's been offered a new deal till 2025, I believe, and it gives me flashback Arteta vibes. It gives me flashback Potter vibes of when Arteta, I think he got a new contract on his third loss in a row, and Potter got one like 4 games in. So maybe they see something in him, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can get anything out of him on Tuesday. Who's going for one? Ben, are you going to be making a trip, or is it going to?
No, I'm working tomorrow night, unfortunately. Well, maybe fortunately. Otherwise, would be going. But yeah, just on the Cooper thing, though, I respect them giving him the contract after obviously the horrendous results. 100%. Like, it could be so easy for them to just sack him after signing 24 players for him.
150 million they spent, right, or something close to that.
So much.
I think they signed 22.
Of course, it's going to take time. Of course, it's going to take time for everything to gel. I guess some fans were probably expecting them to do a lot better than they are right now, and I guess most fans are thinking that. But yeah, the fact that they've given Steve Cooper another contract, it's a breath of fresh air, because they could have easily just sacked him and gone for some random foreign manager.
It's going to be an interesting game. I think that there's not too much to pinpoint. Obviously, Jesse Lingard's coming back. Not really done it for Forest like he did at West Ham, but again, another one to keep an eye on, just because against us it seems to be, Dr. Brighton. I don't know if it's going to happen again.
Dr. Brighton, that's such a good way of describing it.
Yeah, they haven't got a win in the last 4. They haven't even got a point in the last 4 games, have they? I think they've lost every game. They are at the bottom of the table, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, Maz, what are you thinking for tomorrow night?
Well, yeah, they've had 1 point out of 15 potential points. Which is mental. So yeah, listen. If we're really if we're being perfectly frank, right? They are a championship side. Let's be real. The way they're playing, they are. If you look through their team, let's be real. You look through their team, apart from Brennan Johnson and arguably maybe Jesse Lingard and Henderson potentially, they are pretty bang. Yeah, but they are not great. Let's be.
Declan McKenna in defence.
Yates. I mean, Yates.
Isn't he the music artist, Declan? Isn't Declan McKenna? Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's funny.
Mate, their back 4 is Nico Williams, Steve Cook, who's obviously ex-Brighton, McKenna, and Toffolo, who's ex-Huddersfield. Yeah. I mean, that defence is pretty average. Anyway, I've probably jinxed it now, which is always good.
3-0 Forest.
Yeah, 3-0 Forest, yeah. They're going to be a clean sheet. Absolutely trounce.
Mate.
But no. If I'm thinking about it with my head, with my heart, I'm going we win 2-0. We win 2-0. Comfortable evening. But my head says it's not going to be as easy as I think. Obviously, with our recent frustrations, I think that might be a part to play. And Forest obviously looking desperate for a win or a point. Because they need to start getting points on the board, because otherwise they'll be in trouble. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be as easy as we think. If I had to say a result, I'd have to say 1-0 Brighton. I think it's going to be a low scoring one. I don't think it's going to be a one for the neutrals.
Especially if we see him do a low block again, like the other teams have, which we spoke about earlier in the podcast. That's all I'm worried about, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben, what's your take on it, Ben? Tomorrow night.
Very similar to Maz, to be fair. Yeah, with my head, I'm thinking, it's not going to be very straightforward. They're due a win, I guess. They're due a good performance. Dr. Brighton could turn up, like you said, Brian. And maybe they can. Like might be looking at this and thinking it's an opportunity where they can get some points, because we're on the back of 2 losses and 2 frustrating games. I just don't think it's going to be that that straightforward. They've got good players, and it just depends if they can turn up and play. Like if they do play well, then they've got a good enough team to even beat us. I think they've got some decent players. Maybe it's too early for Steve Cooper to actually get them going against us, and that's all I can pray for. I don't think it's going to be comfortable. Maybe
it's going to be 1-0. It's going to be a tough game, mate. I think it's going to be tough because obviously the pressure on Zerbi as well is, I know he's not under pressure in a job, but he's desperate for a first win. Let's be honest. He can come out with his poker face as much as he wants in the media, but I know deep down he'll be thinking he really wants to win this game. Not a must win in terms of points but in terms of anything like that. But it's definitely a must win in terms of morale and for Zerbi just to feel like something's going his way. I feel like if Nottingham Forest after that we've then got Man City, we've got someone else as well big. I can't remember who it is.
We've got City and then Chelsea.
Chelsea, that's the one. That should be.
This is the one where we need 3 points.
So we do need this. Yeah, we do need this win. It does feel like a bit of a must win as well for the morale of the players, as well as the manager and the fans. We've got the storyline on our side. Obviously, everyone's coming back for Enoch Mwepu, and I can't wait to give him the tribute that I'm sure he deserves. And hopefully he's there. I don't know if he will be well enough for that. I don't know what his situation is at the minute. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a tough game. I think their centre forward has potential to give us problems. I can't remember his name, but every time I watch him play, he looks pretty useful, if I'm honest.
Should know his name.
Awoniyi.
That's the one. Yeah, he looks quite useful, I can't lie.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It will be hopefully refreshing after the pain of the last 2 games. I just want to see us play like how we have been, but just create that more clear-cut chance. Maybe a chance for Enda, maybe a chance for Gilmore. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know what else to say, really. I think.
Well, yeah, I'll be interested to see who he replaces, who comes in for Lallana, who goes out for Lallana. That's going to be my big thing. Who does he start instead of Lallana?
Maybe it would be Gross, but maybe it will be Gross.
Yeah, I think Gross is probably the most likely, I'd say.
I know football doesn't work like this, obviously, but we beat Leicester, 5-2? Leicester beat Nottingham Forest 4-0.
4-0, I know. But it's an East Midlands derby, innit? So
yeah, I guess you could say it's
fired up for it.
That was under Potter as well.
Yeah, that was under Potter. Yeah, true. But yeah, I guess
everything's changed. Literally, everything's changed in 3 months. Nothing.
Lost 1-0 to Wolves recently because of a penalty. Like even Wolves obviously break them down. They missed a penalty as well.
Yeah, Brennan Johnson missed the penalty. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're right.
Drew 1-0 with Villa.
Wolves aren't great though.
Yeah, Wolves aren't great. Drew 1-0 with Villa, and Villa aren't great. The fact they couldn't even get a win from those
Forest
2 teams.
From what I heard about it, was like literally trash v garbage. Like it was better than them. It was just like the fact that they were just somehow worse than them. So that's literally how it worked. So, mate, the Premier League this year, genuinely, I was only saying this to my dad yesterday. We were looking at a table. The Premier League is filled with actually like pretty bad teams, to be fair. I mean, if you look at that bottom sort of 10, really, we're better than all of them teams, really. We you watch us against Brentford, and I was watching Villa the other day. I was like, my God, I'm glad we don't play like this because, yes, sometimes they had some decent chances, but overall, it is painful to watch. We are better than a lot of them.
I agree with what you're saying, right? But then it would be like, well, we lost 2-0 to Brentford. We might
we play better. You know what I'm trying to say? Like we've got the potential to be a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. We actually, like, I tweeted out, I said that the last 3 games that I've watched under Zerbi, I'm not worried. I'm fine.
I'm the same.
The football we put on, the displays of football we put on, I think has been very commendable. Really good performance, especially Liverpool, Anfield. Even against Brentford and Tottenham, I felt like in big parts of the game we were the better team. It's just
it's pressure, isn't it? It's pressure.
Yeah, if we lose against Nottingham Forest, my outlook might change a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I think that might change my outlook a little bit. I might get a little bit worried, a little bit,
a little bit shaky.
A little bit shaky.
You know what I mean?
Right, should we score predictions then? Boys?
Score predictions for me then, I'm going to just say, I really, really want us to win this game. I really do. I'm going to say 2-0 because I really want us to go in and win because we have to, really, for the sake of the team's sanity and the manager's sanity and the fan sanity. But yeah, go on, Ben.
I said 1-0. I don't think it'll be a straight.
You both said 1, I believe.
Yeah.
Please, just
I'll just one up you just so I want us to score 2. Yeah, you see, mate. It's a draining podcast to do. I can't lie. It's the first time in a good 6 months we've had a podcast. It was a bit flat.
I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it. I know what you mean. Sorry for listening, to be honest. Fair play for me.
We've got another podcast after Forest.
Yeah, for God's sake. I hope
if we lose that, Oh, we're screwed.
Man City away is
sake,
going to be a
we've
bit
done
of
it.
fun, though, to be fair. I'm just going to enjoy the day out,
Yeah,
go to
good
a
luck
big
with that.
club, you know. It's the last one of the big six I've got to do. So I know we're probably going to lose, so I'm just going there just for the vibes, to be fair.
Yeah, for the Erling vibes.
Yeah. Until then, we've got Forest to play. See you tomorrow night. And is there anything else to say? Anything else?
Thank you for. Well, actually, I hope that us
Comments
talking
below?
about it has vented your frustrations as well, and that you're kind of over. Yeah, I know that sometimes.
Any comments below?
Comments below.
Ivan Toney. We didn't have Ivan Toney. Something like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to just do the emojis? Put an eye emoji, a van emoji, and a toe emoji. Ivan Toney.
Okay.
Oh no,
let's do that.
Ivan Toney.
If that's what you want, if you can even be bothered to do that, because I can't.
An eye, a van, and a toe.
A toe, and then a knee. Sorry, and a knee.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, do that if you want.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, also I won't mention the fan thing. I had an idea earlier. I put it in the chat. I don't know if both of you saw it. To be fair, I will say it.
Don't say it live. Yeah. Don't say it live.
Okay, I won't say it. I won't say it live. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching.
If you haven't as well,
to be honest.
Sorry, Ryan, I completely forgot. If you haven't watched the Marcus Smith episode, what are you doing? Because it was a cracking episode.
Yeah, go watch it.
Yes, it was a horrendous sport of rugby, but we made it fun. So
yeah,
no, I'm joking.
But yeah, I'm sorry if you're still watching. I'm sorry if you're still listening. Thank you for putting up with us for the last 45 minutes, and we'll see you after Forest.
Peace.